that wherever your intuition, third eye, and heart take you, you can be thriving. And it's all a matter of your mind. What you think, you live. Nothing is real. Your body, your reality, your life. It was all and is an illusion. When you disrobe yourself of all this illusion, you are left with pure conscious vibration. Conscious vibration is what you are, and all this reality you are witnessing is a result of it. There is very little you can do to change the reality as a whole. However, you have total power to change and control the reality that you live.
On 3/11/11, a tsunami triggered by an ocean earthquake devastated Japan. It was also the last day of Uranus, god of destruction, in Pisces, the sign of water and open seas. On 5/5/23, a prenumbral lunar eclipse swept across the skies as King Charles rose to the throne and was crowned King of the Monarchy. An eclipse that I forecasted meant a short reign due to ill health. Lo and behold, he's now been diagnosed with cancer, but the palace declines to specify. So in other words, it's aggressive and he's going to die very soon. On 2/24/24, the full moon in fire sign Leo moved into earth sign Virgo of the harvest on Monday 2/26/24, the day the fire in Texas began to sweep across the panhandle, devastating American cattle ranchers and their harvest the worst. Another relentless attack against the American cattle ranchers by big outside international corporations seeking to monopolize beef production in places like Brazil. But like Lahaina and Chile, was this fire started to drive out and impoverish the people who live there. As these homes are destroyed, the homeowners are displaced and reduced to renters, further destroying the American dream. So are these pure coincidences, or is there truth in the age-old axiom that the stars forecast events on Earth? Could the astronomical Adonisian zodiac be used the way meteorologists use Doppler radar to forecast weather, but for future current events? And if so, what do all the following celestial events, all taking place in April 2024, tell us of the forecast to occur? These and more occult secrets revealed to come. In April there will be 2 eclipses. The first, a total solar eclipse, the destructive line of Nineveh. The other, a lunar eclipse and the second consecutive back-to-back full moon in Virgo. Yes, Virgo's constellation takes up a whopping 44 degrees of the Adonisian astronomical zodiac, where 2 full moons always happen every year back-to-back in Virgo, in March and April. Instinct should tell you that these patterns are cycles leading up to something major, and they do because things worsen. As the eclipse of 4/8 is followed up by 2, Mars and Venus, when they enter Pisces, the same sign activated by Uranus, on the same day as the 3/11 tsunami and the Nineveh destruction solar eclipse. Making the prophecy darker is the fact they both meander off from the constellation of Pisces, the 2 fishes, and enter the constellation of the singular fish of Cetus, also a Pisces, meaning fish, though spelled with an I instead of an E, for singular instead of plural. This singular Pisces Cetus is the Leviathan, the Kraken, and the true constellational sign of Jesus. Even the name is similar, Jesus, Cetus. Pisces is associated with Jesus, so either way, if you believe Jesus is Cetus or Pisces, there will be vibrations of Christ on earth, a sort of second coming. Joining Mars and Venus is 3, Mercury in retrograde, causing havoc in the waters of Pisces, making all of our spirits, which Pisces rules over, thrash because of unimaginable sorrow. Add to this Neptune, the Pisces ruler and god of the seas, and we could very well see one of the most spiritually devastating periods of the year and whole decade begin to unfold in April. But it only starts in April because it continues growing in a tide of devastation, destruction, and sadly, warfare come May. 4. All of these celestial events will also be taking place when the monthly vibration of 424 is vibrating the energy of 12, which is in the tarot, the major arcana 12th trump key of the Hanged Man. An auspicious time of reversals, rebirths, and changes. But for that to happen, death, destruction, and devastation must take place first. The best way to think of April is as a bucket getting filled with unprecedented amounts of water, but the water is polluted with sadness, sorrow, and a toxic hate. April's bucket of polluted water begins to spill over into May 2024's 13th vibration of actual death, and a number ruled by Pluto, the god of death, who is in Capricorn. In May, what we will see is the conservative sign of Capricorn being triply activated by the vibration of death through Pluto and 13, and by Taurus when the Sun transits into Capricorn's fellow Earth sign. A few things are certain from this influence of Capricorn. One of the two current front-running presidential nominees will barely make it to the election, specifically Trump, as he is a true-born Taurus with a June 14th birthday. Both candidates are old, but Trump is showing signs of rapid cognitive decline and aging. The frontrunner of the GOP does not have a great astrological outlook for himself. So, could Trump die before the election considering his celestial forecast? Quite possibly. But the Christo-fascist takeover plan of the conservatives, Project 2025, will go nowhere. In fact, this growing and hardly known cabal, made of Catholics in the highest ranks, are planning to end America by, I quote, bringing an end to democracy. Are we secretly suffering a Catholic Inquisition today, working in the shadows of our American government? Our American government, begun by the Founding Fathers to escape religious persecution and extreme taxation, is currently outright and with passion threatened with religious persecution by Catholics who are running a secretive cabal to plan the takeover of America. Is this even their first time doing so in the last 100 years? Because Hitler was a Catholic and received the blessings of the Catholic Pope of his time, with whom he had a direct backchannel. Hitler was Catholic, and his Pope, Pius XII, supported and loved his mission to spread the Holocaust all over Europe. Is the Vatican's secret backchannel to the religious takeover of America, Project 2025? And since the Holocaust was a specifically Catholic phenomenon, is Project 2025 another example of a present-day Catholic Church Inquisition being perpetrated on us? Well, if it speaks, acts, and threatens like an Inquisition, then an Inquisition it is. And if so, what do you do to ensure you not only survive this looming threat of Holocaust, religious persecution, civil war, and world war, and also thrive? Well, let's discuss. However, with all the veils lifted and secrets revealed, human to human. Hello, I am Adonis, the creator of Occult Secrets Revealed, the one-man show writer, narrator, and visual editor.
I am coming face to face with you to drive this message home for you by showing you my humanity and that your survival through the upcoming changes is not only possible, but that wherever your intuition, third eye, and heart take you, you can be thriving. And it's all a matter of your mind. What you think, you live. Nothing is real. Your body, your reality, your life. It was all and is an illusion. When you disrobe yourself of all this illusion, you are left with pure conscious vibration. Conscious vibration is what you are, and all this reality you are witnessing is a result of it. There is very little you can do to change the reality as a whole. However, you have total power to change and control the reality that you live, and what you live now as an adult, as opposed to a child when you were not aware of being pure conscious vibration, is actually all up to you. That's what the awakening is. That you had created your own personal reality, even the bad, but that's why it's also called a rude awakening. Now, as an adult, you know what you think you live, and you have total choice over that, which now as an awakened adult has made this gift of choice a power. Your ability to choose is a power, but you have to unlock it in your mind, even in the face of a looming Holocaust, World War III, and a present-day Catholic Inquisition run by a secretive cabal. You have the power of choice over what you live, despite what you are witnessing. Your power of choice is absolute too. As an absolute truth, when you make a choice in your mind about what thought you hold in it, it will take place. That's the absolute force of this power, which is mental. What you choose in your mind to think, you live. Try it out, but do not reflect on your life by looking into the past in order to see if this is true. Doing so will only dredge up past stuff into your present life. So let's talk about radical acceptance. Radical acceptance is a Hindu teaching inspired from the Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna is talking to Krishna in the face of war and battle. Krishna explains how war, death, and destruction are forces beyond the mind of humans to know. These horrors of our world are forces beyond our minds to control, which is why we have to resign ourselves to the counter effects caused by limits placed by the body upon the spirit. Why we have to balance the divine with the human, knowing there is nothing we can do to end or stop the wave of destruction, wave, and death. We have to relinquish the desire to control. Understand that there are greater forces at play, and we can relegate those forces to the planet's gods or religious beliefs, and detach our desire to control this world, and just turn that desire to control inward toward controlling the mind. When you do look within, you must practice supreme indifference, another teaching of Krishna to Arjuna. Supreme indifference is the act of radical acceptance in practice. When you look within and go into your inner darkness, there is, at first, a lot of trauma, hurt, fear, anger, rage, and outright hate, which you must be robustly authentic and honest about in order to simultaneously rise above it all to a higher divine and pure conscious vibration. The point of going within is to remember that nothing is real. It is all an illusion. All that you lived is a veil. And behind it all, in your deepest core, you are pure conscious vibration. That is the realization supreme indifference applied to your inner world awakens in you. The fact that you are conscious vibration, that you are woven into the universe, that all the universe is in you. The paradoxical duality, and you may be intuiting this, is that you are yourself and nothing at all. Both realities are true. You are someone and no one, something and nothing. When you are creating your future life in the present moment, right here and now, by using your absolute power of choice to think what you know you will live, you have to do so from the state of no thing, of knowing you are absolute pure conscious vibration, which is inexplicable, indescribable, and compared to all these veils and illusions of this reality, including your body and your life, which give the illusion of you being something, you are actually nothing. From this point of no thing, you are open to all, but now with your awareness as an adult, you have absolute power of choice. You can now mold this nothing into anything. And why mold it into a nightmare when you can equally and easily a fantasy? But the struggle comes when you are holding this fantasy vibration in the face of the illusion of this reality, which is so convincing of its realness when it actually isn't. This reality tries to convince our senses that it is real, but it is not. The only real thing is pure conscious vibration, which is nothing and everything. So in the face of this world reality, again, practice radical acceptance and supreme indifference toward it. Witness the current present reality with supreme indifference, but here's the thing, and this is important. At the same time, also radically accept that you live what you think, and you can think of fantasy as easily as a worry. You can conjure up a fantasy which you will live, or a worry that you will stress over. It's all up to you. It's just the more aware you are, the better you manifest the fantasy. As some of you who have been following me for the last year already know, I own my own home. But just 5 years ago, this time, March 2019, I lived in one small bedroom with intense sciatica pain and unemployed when not being a barista. In December 2018, I just went all in on this secret knowledge. I began to meditate every day, healing my chakras, using malas, which I cannot stress enough how crucial they are. Some of you have claimed you meditate better without malas, but one of us is a homeowner, self-employed with multiple avenues for income. I have no credit debt. I have no debt. I live in utter abundance. You fall asleep meditating without a mala, but you can't fall asleep. The meditation activates the body awake, mind asleep axis, which a mala helps you achieve because it keeps you awake, incorporates your physical body, so meditation becomes physical, so too the light show. So do not try to convince yourself that you are having amazing meditations without a mala, because I am the proof and example. This knowledge and its practice works. So you must practice it, mala included, for it to work. Because from March 2019 to December 2019, I went from that one small room to manifesting a financial windfall that allowed me to buy my home. In less than 9 months of putting my all into chasing this inner chakra rainbow, I found my pot of gold. Today, I also have no sciatica. I am self-employed, have multiple streams of income, and best of all, I am a teacher, a shaman, an actual guru in the making. I strongly encourage you to apply this knowledge in your life. What is going to stop a lot of you is being lazy. Most of you will sadly, and this is the reality, will not meditate, much less with a mala, much less use your absolute power of choice. And I radically accept that with supreme indifference. Because for me, and for those of you like me who meditate every day, use the malas, and exercise power of choice, we know the power of our intrinsic divinity. The gift of this knowledge is one thing, but I am here to show you how to exercise this power, flex this muscle of inner divinity. So let's explore in depth the astrology of this astronomical Adonisian zodiac for April 2024. Let's go straight into the April 8th new moon total solar eclipse, which I am calling the Judgment line of Nineveh. This eclipse on April 8th will do 3 things of utter horror, which those in power are already using for their benefit to prepare with their billionaire bunkers. It will, 1. Form an X with the eclipse of the Great American Eclipse of August 21st, 2017, the one Trump directly looked at. That eclipse happened with the Sun and Moon conjunct in Leo. The eclipse coming on April 8th in Pisces will form an X. Recently, X has been shoved in all of our faces. There seems to be an endless stream of exposure to the letter X. Two of these X letters placed together form the M and W, and respectively in numerology the numbers 4 and 5, the sum of which is 9 of completion, and after 9 is 10, thus X. All just a mere coincidence maybe, but interesting, isn't it? 2. It will reach totality right over Nineveh, Indiana, also hitting Nineveh, Texas, Nineveh, Missouri, Nineveh, Ohio, Nineveh, Pennsylvania, Virginia, New York, Nova Scotia, the line of Nineveh. 3. 8 cities named Nineveh in the year of 8. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4 is 8. The Giza pyramid has 8 sites located in Cairo, and each of these Ninevehs are near Cairos in America. 8 means karma, comeuppance, and an end and new beginning, a sort of death and new life, but without the resurrection, because resurrection is the domain of 13. This judgment line of Nineveh eclipse occurs on the 8th day of April, a 20-numbered date. 4 plus 8 plus 8 equals 20. 20 in the tarot is the major arcana key of judgment, Judgment Day. This day of judgment, a date of cosmic reckoning, as you might very well guess, because now you know the truths after more than a year of my videos, that those in power are going to make hell for us. 4. This day of judgment also happens on the second Monday of April, Monday, April 8th, 9 days after Easter 2024. 9 is again the number of completion, and the first Sunday in April, Sunday, April 7th, 2024, the day prior to this eclipse, is the Catholic Day of Divine Mercy. 7 is the number of truth, the number of churches in the letters of St. John, the number of days in 1 week, and chakras. And Project 2025, the Catholic Fascist Manifesto, frequently alludes to the 7 mountains. I think the last day of normalcy is April 7th, the day of Divine Mercy. Just 2 days later, Venus will veer off from Pisces and stray into Cetus, the Kraken, the Leviathan, and Destroyer. Also, as I have contended in this channel, the true astronomical sign of Jesus. Whenever the Kraken constellation of the whale monster is activated, these exact same qualities are too. Venus is also Lucifer, the fallen angel, and originally Pallas Athena, the Greek goddess of war and destruction. According to the ancient Greeks, prior to the Romans, Venus grew inside the head of Zeus, Jupiter. Her incredible birth is described as her exploding out of his head, literally shooting out of his cranium. Greek astronomers described her screeching through the skies as a silver comet inside a fire, which is why Pallas Athena was always dressed in full battle armor. Pallas Athena, Venus or Lucifer, and Quetzalcoatl to the Maya is also part and parcel of the secret occult makeup of the United States. How? Well, Venus makes a 5-pointed star around the heavenly firmament of Earth every 5 years. 5 plus 8 is 13, and there were 13 original American colonies, each one ruled by one of the secret ruling families. This is why the 5-pointed star was chosen as the symbol for the colonies, and even though there are 50 states and stars on the flag today, there remain only 13 stripes. Red like the fire that engulfed the silver-white comet of the shooting star called Lucifer, Pallas Athena, born from fire and brimstone. This specific influence will activate the Kraken Cetus Jesus of Resurrection when Venus transits there. Just a month later, May 9th through the 12th, Mars, the current planet of war and destruction, will transit into Cetus. Back-to-back activations of the destroyer whale monster by 2 planets of destruction. Think that's the end of it? Think again. Mercury will activate the Cetus Kraken Leviathan Jesus for just 1 day on May 18th. While the moon is Krishna, Mercury is Buddha of enlightenment, awakening, and divine messages. You better have that Christos lunar Krishna flowing through your spine, because that is the only way you and I will be able to sustain these upcoming events of death, destruction, and war, which all of us are going to witness. Remember, with radical acceptance and supreme indifference, along with catastrophic geological events like earthquakes, possibly causing more tsunamis, more wildfires devastating even more American cattle ranchers and beyond, affecting the entirety of American farmers and other American-grown produce. Last year in 2023, there were 100 FEMA disasters, and they were so stretched thin they did not even show up to some of them. Our railroads are deteriorating, resulting in chemical spills, ecological disasters, and communities being polluted, like in Palestine, Ohio. But did you know that was just one derailment of a total 742, meaning an average of 3 train derailments happened in America every day in 2023. Our railroads are deteriorating, a backbone to our trade system and jobs and housing. And instead of improvements, these rich corporations who own the railroads are just pocketing the profits with fat paychecks. And our American fabric of homegrown food and communities is suffering. Mercury in retrograde in Pisces, plural, with this sign, is awakening us to how our divine inheritance to the elements, earth, water, fire, and air, and the right to eat food rich in life-supporting substance, with animals whose meat we can eat without fearing its origin and possible genetic manipulation. Our world is being polluted, except that with supreme indifference. Mercury in Cetus, who is the Pisces singular with I spelling, teaches us that while that reality of the world is true, so too is your divine inheritance to Earth. We live as humans in the human world and must accept it radically with supreme indifference. But we are also singular spirits born into this earthly plane, which is but one of many planes we are also a part of, including the greater astral planes. That is the true symbology of the singular fish, the symbol of Jesus for the Christians, which encourages us to be like fish in this world. We find this symbol of the fish in the Vesica Pisces, the symbol of resurrection. Promptly after this transit into the Kraken, Mercury will exit the celestial seas of the Adonisian zodiac, which ranges from Capricorn to Cetus and Pisces, and then begins the fire of Aries. For 11 days, a master number, Mercury will transit Aries, the fire sign of spirit, being reborn through the fires, and of willpower. This is when you must, with all your inner forces, direct and focus your energy into your fantasy, radically accepting with supreme indifference what is happening in the world. All of us will be tested during these activations of Cetus, the Kraken. But this is also in many ways the most auspicious celestial forecast we have had in years. These activations and constant reactivations of Cetus is like awakening the Kraken down here on earth, and this Kraken will reveal itself to us. In this Kraken, the opposite energy of Christos emerges. The awakening of one results in the other. The Christos will emerge because the Antichrist Kraken has been too, which, if you reflect on it, explains why there is so much religious persecution, crusades, and wars all over again today. If we take one giant leap into the future 1,000 years from now, this era will be studied for its inability to solve issues of starvation, genocide, and inequality with its incredible innovations because of a few oligarch corporations who successfully abused and manipulated people's susceptibility to religion in order to cause divide, hate, war, and regression instead of progression. Because what all these extremists of all the religions cannot see is they are not praying and bowing down to any god, but to the wills of oligarchs and corporations. That's their true gods. Do not fall for the illusion of this world. Remember, it is all an illusion. Strip yourself of all those veils placed on you by society. Get in touch with the pure conscious vibration and live the fact that this is all an illusion. The only truth is you are pure conscious vibration and what you think you live. And that is all a matter of personal choice regardless of whatever is happening in this human world. Because you are more than human. You are a spirit who inherited their divine right to all this earth has to offer. My predictions are the following. Heads of states and countries will die, including Trump and King Charles. First, the royal family. The royal family will be in tatters, as King Charles is either on his deathbed or already dead. By May 5th, given 3 months with August 5th as the last possible date, King Charles will not be King Charles. His throne will have been abdicated, and we will be hearing the age-old song in the air. The king is dead, long live the king. This song vibes as one with this year's numerology of 8 because in the figure 8 of eternity we see how the inflection point divides the before and after, the old and the new, the death and the rebirth. In place of King Charles, there will be moral outrage against Prince William, as his reputation regarding Kate Middleton's mysterious whereabouts and rumors of her being in a coma turn him into a villain. I predict there will be discord as William takes the crown and throne, with Harry taking back his royal titles and resuming formal royal duties. Meghan is going to be reframed because Kate Middleton's mysterious disappearance will have indelibly tarnished their public trust in William and the family as a whole. Now, Trump. Trump is going to mentally succumb quickly to his own downhill battle to save his family, business, and wealth. His death will not result in the end of the MAGA movement. It will, in fact, have found its martyr. In death, Trump will assume true cult status, conspiracy theories will prevail, and his base will be saddened but not defeated. For the majority of America, it will be a breath of fresh air. Finally, no longer will his face get plastered all over our screens. Nikki Haley will rise as the frontrunner of the GOP. She will absorb all of MAGA and her stardom will rise. She is what the GOP needs to rehabilitate its image, and they know it. I am not a proponent, nor do I support either party. The Clintons, just like John Roberts, conservative Supreme Court judge, and his wife, were frequently listed on the Epstein flight rosters and horror house of evil ritualistic sex island. Both are corrupt, and Bill, what he did to Monica, makes him no different than Trump. They both grabbed him by the pussy. They're both cut from the same cloth. The whole two-party system has been a charade, and only when you detach yourself with the third eye vision can you see the greater narrative at play here, how it is all a lie, an illusion, a way to mislead, misinform, and when you have lost and stupid populations, you drug them with religions because Nietzsche was right. Religion is the opiate of the masses. Then you have an enslaved and imprisoned people. Let me explain. They are actively building walls and fences with barbed wire along the border similar to those of prisons, right? But to keep them out? These are not to keep immigrants from coming in. It is to keep Americans from getting out. The GOP is not going to give up their Catholic fascist nationalist takeover. This Catholic fascist movement already has 6 Catholics presiding as judges in the Supreme Court. The GOP is fully and well set up to impose their Catholic conservative beliefs on everyone through government edict, and they have an active and well-coordinated secret army of volunteers. Meaning, they will be able to come into your homes, turn your children into spies against you, make you turn against your neighbor in the name of their Catholic God and beliefs. And this may not sound like it can happen, but it already is. They are already stripping women of reproductive rights and any independence over their body and life. Transphobia, the telltale sign of the Nazi Holocaust's first day, is on the rise and has already claimed one student's life. Rise in peace, next Benedict. In Nazi Germany, it only took one transgender kid's life for the ripple effect of mass incarceration and indiscriminate murder to get started, leading to 11 million deaths. Project 2025 explicitly states that it will begin rounding up Latinos immediately on day 1 of January 20th, 2025. We already are seeing crazy measures taken place by states where even looking like an illegal can get you arrested. In Arizona, you can shoot an illegal immigrant on your private property and face no consequences. Wake up! Because if you haven't already, we are already clearly living in the early days of the new Reich. In our American country, people are already being rounded up, shot, killed, and beaten because of the same Catholic fascism of Nazism 100 years ago. So, what do? Have an exit plan. While also safely starting to hunker down with all your canned goods, update your first aid kits, consider buying a survival pack. While we wait to see the outcome of the election, we are all going to be under the threat of climate change, FEMA disasters, railroad derailments, wildfires, earthquakes, and extreme hurricanes and tornadoes. Paint your home and roofs blue if you have the financial ability so you can avoid being one of the homes consumed by one of these fires strangely sweeping the world. But, as Biden himself said it in a press conference, they skip right over the blue homes. And meditate, meditate, meditate. Meditate for the true medication. Do it today, right after this, tomorrow, every day, as a daily habit. And if you desire to have your own Adonisian zodiac report with the Christos Serpent astronomy report, book me via my shop. While there, consider a mala. I pray that in putting this video out ahead of time, a full month or two before all these events begin taking place, you are ready to put all your effort in your own divine and wholesome well-being. Because despite all that is happening in your neck of the woods and in the world, remember these three truths. What you think, you live. So think the fantasy. While you can't turn a blind eye, radically accept with supreme indifference the world, but also with that same radical acceptance and supreme indifference, know your life can be a fantasy in the midst of the nightmare. Your fantasy, which you will live, is true, just like the nightmare of the world, but you are not responsible for changing the world. Only you can be the change you want, but not for the world. For your life. The world is going to stay a nightmare. You're not responsible for changing the world from good to bad though, just your life. I'm grateful for you joining and for your light. Please consider a generous cosmic boost by clicking on the cosmic boost via the tried and trusted PayPal button located on the website's homepage. Thank you for subscribing, your love, likes, and comments, and no matter who you are, activate your third eye to be a force of God in your life, Earth, and the planets, the universe, and God. And until next time,
trust and believe that it is okay to be you. The most beautiful you there ever was, there is, and that there ever will be. Because you are not a story that can be told twice, and there will never again be a stage for you to perform, but this one, right here, right now. So be you, the most beautiful you.